Again, welcome to Life Hacks with Andrew. I am Andrew Messia. Today we're talking about patience and how I've learned patience and how it served me in my success. And yes, the secret to my success has been patience. If there's one thing that I learned in jail, it was patience. In jail, there's a phrase to describe when someone counts down the days before their release. It's called hard time. He's doing hard time. He's hard timing it. He's a hard timer. It's called doing hard time because when you count the days, time goes by slowly. Every hour feels like a marathon. Every day feels like a month. And every month feels like the last. I would see guys mark an X on a calendar after each day, put a little stick on the wall after each week, after each month, after each year. Those were the same guys that would cry at night. They were the same guys that suffered from anxiety, from depression. Some even had to take medications because of it. Patience is a virtue. And I say it emphatically, even though we already have heard this in our life somehow or somewhere, patience is a virtue. 2 years can go by in a blink of an eye if you're putting all of your efforts and your focus into something constructive, something fun. However, 24 hours can take an eternity if you spend your time looking at the clock. For me, this virtue didn't come naturally. I had to learn it, and I learned it the hard way. I learned it in jail, but I learned. Some people may be asking, why am I bringing all of this to light? You know, my time in jail, my trials and tribulations, my success. I'm bringing all of the skeletons out of the closet. I'm airing out my dirty laundry because it's time to strike. I've been patiently waiting, and it's time to strike, and I'm ready. It's been 17 years since my release from prison in California. It's been 17 years to get to where I am today. 17 years of not complaining. 17 years of working on my craft, 17 years of working on my personal development, 17 years of working on my dreams, 17 years of working in silence. Now it's time to let the world know what I'm made of. And that if I can make it, you can make it too. But it's going to take time. For those of you guys joining on the live right now, I'm recording my next episode, which is called Be Patient, and how I learned patience in jail and how it's served me in my success as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a business owner, as a boss, as a leader, as a follower, etc. So thank you guys for joining. Make sure to like and subscribe. So let's talk about patience. In today's world of technology, everyone wants to succeed fast, especially younger people, I think. Because there's so much information, there's so much technology, everything is so visual that everybody wants to get there fast. They want to be able to upload a picture of their new car, their new house, their new watch on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, to prove to others that they're a success. Mind you that most of those things were bought on credit. The loan, or the car has a loan. The house has a mortgage. The watch was bought with money that was traded in for time. That's not success. That's what we in jail, that's what we call a front. Stop fronting. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. So let's stop lying to ourselves, right? Let's stop trying to create this facade of success when it's not success. Greatness takes time. That's what I've learned. When I was a kid, I always said to myself, and I always thought, I want to retire at 35. I don't know why, but that was the magic number. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought, I want to retire at 35. I'm 41 now, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Even though I can stop today if I wanted to and be okay, I'm not done. I know that greatness takes time. Again, for those of you guys joining the live stream, this is Life Hacks with Andrew. Every single day for the next 2 years, I'm going to be streaming about a certain topic. And then I'll do a separate stream about playing video games because I love to play video games and I want to be a gamer. So but I'll be doing that separately just because it's easier for my editor and also for the audience to tune in to what they want to watch. They want to watch video games and me talking about being patient. I'm going to do that later. But right now I'm focusing on this idea of being patient and how I learned to be patient and how it served me in my success in life as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a boss, as a leader, as a follower, etc. So today I want to go over 3 ways to work on your patience. Mind you that I did not make up all of these 3 ways. I've read books about patience. I've taken classes. I've been to AA and A meetings when I was a kid. I've had anger management classes. I've done many different types of therapies that have helped me improve my patience over time. So the number one thing when trying to be patient or working on your patience, working on your dream, and you just feel maybe stuck or you feel frustrated that it's not going fast enough, the number one thing that I've learned is that you have to accept your circumstances. When I got to jail at 22 years old, I had no choice but to accept my circumstances. I realized that no matter how hard I prayed to God, how hard I fought with all the other inmates and police, how hard I tried to change my current situation, it wasn't going to change. So I had to accept it. I had to take it in stride and play the game to the best of my abilities. When you accept your circumstances, it allows you to move the focus from the negatives of the present to the positives of the present and the positives of the future. So it kind of like lifts a weight off your shoulder, or off your shoulders, I should say. And it breeds hope. And hope, in my opinion, is one of the strongest human feelings and emotions that you can have. Because hope, when you have hope, you're going to fight, you're going to dream, you're going to move forward. Accepting your circumstances doesn't mean to settle for what you have right now. You should never settle for a negative situation. If you're broke right now, if you're in debt right now, if you're tired of your job, you're tired of your boss, whatever it is, whether you're trying to start a new business, grow your current business, change your career, change your life, remember to accept your current circumstance, accept your current situation, but do not settle for it. Let go of today's negativity that you cannot escape and focus on the future. Because what's worse than being in jail physically? It's worse to be living free, but in the confinement of your own negative mind and your own negative life. That's my opinion. I wouldn't rather be in jail, but I think that if you're in jail, but you accept your circumstances, you're somewhat free. And what's worse than that is to be living out here completely free. Man, freedom is amazing, by the way. Freedom is amazing. But living free, but being confined to your negative mind and your negative life, man, that's got to be worse, man. I'd never want to experience that. So free yourself by accepting your current circumstances and moving on. Don't dwell on your negativity. Move on. So number one thing when improving your patience, to being successful, to achieving your dreams, to getting that career, to buying that dream home for your mom or your dad or your grandparents or whatever your dream is, you have to free yourself by accepting your current circumstances so that you can move forward. For those of you guys joining the live, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the likes. Make sure to follow, subscribe. There's a YouTube channel, Andrew Macia. Just look it up on YouTube. Also, a Facebook on my personal page. I'm doing these live streams every single day for the next 2 years. Today, we're talking about patience. The number one thing that I like to think about when thinking about patience is to accept my current circumstances. Whenever I'm in a bind, whenever I'm facing a negative situation or I'm cornered, the first thing that I have to realize is to take a deep breath and be like, okay, this is the situation right now. I accept it. I can't change this current situation right now, but I can move on. And that goes for anything, man. When I'm playing basketball, for example, yesterday, we got beat 8 games in a row just playing pickup basketball by these guys that weren't very good. But my team wasn't playing very good either. And I realized that, okay, I accept this. We're not going to win today, but I'm going to focus on cardio. I'm going to focus on passing the ball more and see if these guys will make a shot. And then eventually we'll win a game. But number one is to accept your current circumstances and lift that weight off your shoulders. Number two is my favorite, is to build tolerance to pain. And by pain, I mean discomfort. It doesn't have to be physical pain, although if you're like an athlete or something, you're probably going to want to build up physical tolerance, right? Physical pain. So spending time locked up was very uncomfortable and at times emotionally and physically painful, right? Whether it was getting beat up by the inmates themselves or getting beat up by the cops, it's or just emotionally drained and emotionally, missing people on the outs, etc. It is painful. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's a punishment, right? Once I got out, though, I knew that I had a new threshold of pain. I knew that I could spend 2 years. I knew that if I could spend 2 years locked up in jail with some of the worst people in society, I could tolerate anything. Living out of my car while I was working this multi-level marketing company where I was selling perfume out of the trunk of my car and living out of my car, piece of cake. Fuck, I could do that standing on my head. Working 16 hours a day. While I learned marketing from a pro, when I was working with the attorney, I was literally working like 16 hours a day, every single day. Shit, I could take that in stride, right on the chin. It doesn't matter. It's nothing compared to 2 years in jail. Moving to Colombia with only a $2,000 credit card. Come on, bring it on. It's like that's a cakewalk, right? So how do you build up tolerance to pain without going to jail? This is my, I guess the analogy for some people will be, okay, like going to jail and you're building up tolerance to pain. And then once you're out of jail, you could do anything and conquer the world because nothing is worse than being locked up and having your freedom taken from you. But how can you build up tolerance to pain? And how do I continue to build my tolerance to pain so that I become more patient and I succeed? Well, the first thing is to put yourself in difficult situations. If you want to get better at speaking a new language, let's say you're trying to learn Spanish or you're trying to learn English, but you're afraid of speaking to people because you may fuck up, they make fun of you. The only way to get better is by speaking to people and having them correct you. Because people are not dicks. They're not going to make fun of you. Maybe some are. For example, in the United States, if you have an accent and you're somewhere in the South or somewhere where there's probably a less eclectic society in the United States, someone may look at you and like, what the fuck are you saying? And be rude to you. Yeah, but that's how you get calloused, and that's how you build up tolerance to that pain of someone making fun of you. And that's how you're going to move forward by, in learning this new language, right? You don't want to get stuck in your own mind saying, I'm not going to try because what if they make fun of me? That is the worst regret ever. If you're afraid of sales because you're afraid of rejection, go door to door, make cold calls. Tolerance is only built up after failure, after failure, after failure, after failure. That's how this tolerance to pain is built up. When I was in the multi-level marketing business where we sold perfume on the street to complete strangers, I was petrified, mortified, completely scared of going up to someone and asking them, hey, what kind of perfume do you wear? Or hey, especially if it was a woman. And it's funny because it was easier for me to ask a guy where most guys would be scared to be like, hey, what kind of cologne do you wear? But for me, it was scary to go up to women because I didn't know how to sell to a woman. I knew what guys wore. I knew every single cologne that was on that list. I knew everything that I had in my back, the back of the trunk. But when it was a woman, I was like, fuck, I don't know what this woman would wear. I remember at the beginning, I was trying to sell Elizabeth Taylor to young women, and Elizabeth Taylor's like a grandma perfume, right? So it was hard. But the only way that I got over that and got calloused to rejection because I got rejected many, many times, especially I remember very rude people as well. Got into a fist fight one time with a security guard that kicked us out of a Walmart parking lot, etc. But once you go through that harsh rejection, you build up tolerance to that pain, and you're able to, you're able to stand back and say, okay, bring it on. There's nothing more that you can do to me that won't hurt me, So tolerance is built up after failure and failure and failure and failure, because eventually there will be a success. But if you don't fail, then there won't be any tolerance to pain. The next thing is to understand that it's hard for everyone. Sales and marketing weren't easy for me at the beginning, but it got easier, like I was just saying. When I started this digital marketing agency 6 years ago with my friend and business partner, Joel, I had a higher threshold of pain towards rejection because for the last 11 years, I had been working on building up that tolerance, right? To all of the rejection that I had gotten, all of the failed business ventures, all of the failed clients that I had, etc. I had built up this tolerance. So even though it may look like some people make it look easy, it's only because they've built up more tolerance than you at the current moment. And it doesn't mean that it can't be easy for you in the future. The next thing is to understand that that it's not a matter of skill. You've got to understand that it's not a matter of skill or intelligence. It's a matter of tolerance. The game of success is not about who can get to the finish line first. It's about who can stand the longest. So don't beat yourself up because you're not getting there quickly. Beat yourself up because you want to get ahead and you want to stay ahead. The more uncomfortable situations you put yourself through, the stronger you get and the longer you will stand. The enemy is not your skills nor your intelligence, so stop beating yourself up. The enemy is your low tolerance. The enemy is the fact that you're fucking weak. So start building up your tolerance. Work towards increasing your tolerance to pain, and you can conquer anything. For those of you guys joining the live stream today, we're talking about building up patience and how it's worked for me in my life and how I continue to build up patience in order to be successful and in order to not only be successful, but to be happy. When you're patient, you're happy. And I believe that as I wait for things, patiently waiting, I'm happy. It makes my life a lot easier to deal with. Business is a lot less stressful. Life is a lot more tolerable when you're patient. So number 1 was to accept your circumstances. Number 2 was to build tolerance to pain. Number 3 is passion and fun. Many won't believe it, but once I accepted my situation and started to build tolerance to the pain of being in jail, it was actually pretty fun. It was kind of like a boys' camp at one point where it was just like, wow, this is fun. Like, you get so, I guess, institutionalized at a point where it's like, okay, this is fun and it's easy. And it's fun, and I'm meeting great people. I made friends, had a daily routine, went to class, got a job, worked out, played chess, played basketball, heard fascinating stories from some of the craziest characters that had been in and out of jail their whole lives. I met some of the funniest people and interesting people in jail, and that made my time go faster. While trying to build your success and achieving your dreams, make sure that you're having fun. It sucks to just be working and working and working and not having fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it. I'm having fun doing this, and this is why I'm doing it. I have fun working with Joel and Josh and my brother and Mike and all of the people on my team, and that's why I like doing that. Even if the current situation that you're in right now sucks, don't dwell on the negativity. Find a positive and find a way to make it fun. Even if you're not passionate about what you're doing right now and your plan is to quit and to start something else, maybe venture on your own, make whatever you're doing right now tolerable and be patient by making it fun, right? Even if the current situation sucks, I know I hate saying this, but it's happened to me where I was in a situation that I didn't like. Obviously, jail is a great example, but there's been many occasions in my life where I was in situations that I was uncomfortable, I didn't like, I wanted to get out of, but I couldn't. I remember when I was teaching English here in Colombia, like 6, 7 years ago, I had taken on a class for teenagers, and I was only used to teaching classes for adults and young adults. And for me, that was easy because it's young adults and adults. I could form a lesson plan like this off the top of my head around whatever grammar point or whatever vocab that we're learning that day. And it was very easy for me to be dynamic in the class with young adults and older teens, I guess. But when I got this class, I signed up to do a class for adolescents. Man, that was like the hardest 6 months of classes that I've ever done. And again, if I could endure 6 months of teaching adolescents, literally there was a time when these kids brought beer to class and they were drinking beer. I mean, we're talking about Colombian kids that like grow up pretty quickly, especially when they're from different neighborhoods. That was a very difficult time. But I started to make it fun. Instead of saying, man, I fucking dread going to class and teaching these badass kids, what am I going to do? And, instead of being frustrated, I started to have fun with them. I started to bring the PlayStation into class and saying, hey, we're going to play PlayStation, but we got to learn this shit. Or we're going to go dance in the other class with the other kids, or we're going to do an ice cream party. So I started having fun with them, and to this day, I still have some kids that will write me and say, hey, teacher, I really remember our class. And so it was really amazing. But you've got to find the fun and the passionate, right? So for those of you guys joining the live stream, my name is Andrew. This is Life Hacks with Andrew. Every single day I'll be doing a live stream on my Facebook, on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is just facebook.com/Andrew Macia. Just look up Andrew Macia and you'll find it. These episodes will be edited and cut down just to the meat of them. Today we were talking about patience and how I learned it in jail and how it served me in my success as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a leader, as a follower, etc. So thank you guys for joining. And so again, the secret to my success has been patience. It's been 17 years since my release from jail in California. It's taken me 17 years to get to where I am today. 17 years of not complaining, 17 years of working on my craft, 17 years of working on personal development, 17 years of working on dreams, 17 years of working in silence. Today, I've broken the silence, and I'm letting all the skeletons out of the closet. I'm airing out all of the dirty laundry so that you can learn from my mistakes, from my growth, from my wins, my failures, so that I can get that dopamine rush when someone comes to me and says, hey, what you told me resonated with me and it really got me through the day, or it's getting me through this difficult situation. For me, that's a rush, and it's already started to happen. I've already had a taste of it. I've had a taste of what it's like to change a life through Help Colombia, helping these kids from lower income neighborhoods. And I really love that. It's almost like an addiction where, yes, it's selfish, but at the same time, I truly and honestly want to help people, and I want to touch people in a positive manner, whether it's a kid or whether it's an adult, whether it's someone that's older than me or younger than me. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is to be able to impact and serve. So thanks again for joining. This was Life Hacks with Andrew. We're talking about being patient. Thank you guys for saying hello on the chat. Thank you for following and giving a like. Make sure to share, comment, follow on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Let's be patient. Remember what Aristotle said. One of my favorite quotes. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, great evening. Ciao.